There we go. Thanks very much. You good, Vanessa?
Yes, we're good.
Thank you. Well, good morning to everybody, and we welcome all of you today. We'll call to order the regular meeting of the Lawrence County Board of Commissioners. Today is Tuesday, March 11 of 2025. We'll note that this meeting is being live streamed, and then I understand it will be available on YouTube, I guess. And I've been asked to note that NCTV Channel 45 also carries it, is my understanding, and we're also recording the meeting. Finally, if you have a cell phone on you, would you please put it on vibrate or silent? We'd appreciate your doing that. We always begin the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we ask you to remain standing for a moment of silence. I'd like to note we lost a real fine person, also a fine public servant within the last week, Dave Hairhogger, who served on New Beaver Borough Council for 49 years. And I attended his funeral service yesterday. I actually first met Dave when I was 6 years old. His daughter and I started first grade together. And so I knew Dave growing up. And, he took a lot of pride in his service as a New Beaver Borough Council member, and just did a fine job and was a real fine human being. He was a truck driver by profession, and we'll certainly miss Dave. 91 years old, and he was still serving on Borough Council. So we'll miss Dave, but please keep his family in your thoughts. So we'll start. Joe, could you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. We'll have a moment of silence. Thank you, everybody. Vanessa, could you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Sinata?
Here.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Here.
Commissioner Vogel?
Here, we have a quorum. As we always do, we'll have two opportunities for public comment, one in just a few moments and then one before we adjourn. You're welcome to speak both times. If you only want to speak once, that's fine. Or if you're just here to listen, that's also fine. We do ask that you try to limit your time to about 5 minutes or so. And also, if you could direct your comments to county government matters, we would appreciate that as well. Item 2 on the agenda, we always set aside time for our elected row officers if they have any reports or concerns. And we do have our county controller, Dave Prestipine, with us. He's here for a bid opening in a few moments, but Dave, anything over and above that?
Nope, that's all.
All right, sir, thank you. It's good to have you here. That takes us to public comments. Let me open the floor and see if anybody has a comment they'd like to make at this time. Hearing and seeing none, we'll do this again before we adjourn. That takes us to fiscal and contractual. And we do have a bid opening today. Back on February 11, the board passed Resolution 26, which authorized the advertising of bids, or 4 bids, for the maintenance of the recreational areas that the county is responsible for, which would include mowing, trimming, and trash collection. We're requesting bids from contractors, and my understanding is that the bid advertisements appeared on February 17, February 21, and the resolution noted that we would open those bids today. And our county controller handles that, and for most of you are aware, we have a relatively new system that's done online, for lack of a better term, and it seems to be working well.
Mm-hmm.
We thank Dave for bringing this to us about a year or two ago, I think.
I think this is the second year.
And it seems to work fine.
Yeah.
So, Dave, I'll turn it over to you. Do you know how many bids we received?
We got 2.
Okay, would you please proceed?
The 2 bids were from Beyond Corp, which is in Edenburg, Pennsylvania, and Pyatt's Landscaping, which is in Newcastle, Pennsylvania.
approve something along the lines. The Encore, their total bid is $70,960.
Is that 70?
$70,960.
960. Thank you, Dave.
$72,980.
And that was Pyatt, is
That was
that right,
Pyatt,
Dave?
Yep.
Okay. We have with us Rebecca Schaefer from the Planning Department. Rebecca, what we normally do, of course, is we would table the bids to allow your office to review them in consultation, I'm sure, with the Controller's office. And I don't know if you talked to the engineers or not, but I assume you'd like a week or so to have that opportunity. Before I would take a motion to table, though, let me see if Mr. Kennedy has any questions or comments. Okay, thank you. Mr. Sonata?
Just brief, Rebecca, have we used either of these two companies in the past?
We have a long-standing relationship with Pyatt's, but Beyond has, bid in prior years, past 2 or 3 years. Been a little higher, so we have gone with Pyatt's in a while. But I will make note that maybe we will talk to Jason Medor, if, depending on, I wanted to review it too, to make sure we're good on, what we decide, what everyone decides.
As I said, we've dealt with both companies.
Yes,
in
and
the
they're
past.
all bonded, they all have their insurance, or they would not be able to bid, so they followed
Okay,
all
I
of
just
our
want to make
guidelines.
sure that
Yes,
you're familiar with both companies.
I am.
Okay, that's all I want.
Thank you, Chris. I used to have to ask you if they were all received in a timely manner, but this system guarantees that, doesn't
Correct.
it?
It does not like them submit one, and once it crosses that time period.
So I don't have to ask you that anymore.
You can ask.
Dave, do you have anything else to add on this?
I do not.
Okay, well, thank you both. Could I please have a motion to table these bids?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you both, gentlemen. May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes,
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Dave, as always, thank you very much. Do you have anything else for us?
I do not.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. Rebecca, thank you for being here. Next on our agenda, we have the warrant register. This one is dated March 6th of 2025. It's a listing of the bills that have been paid by the County Controller's Office. And I'll give my two colleagues time to look them over. And whenever you're ready, gentlemen, I could entertain a motion for us to accept the warrant register.
I move we accept the warrant register.
I'll second.
Thank you both, gentlemen. Any questions or concerns? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes,
Commissioner
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you. Also in our packet, we have the minutes of the March 4 Commissioners meeting. And once again, Chris and Dan, take time you need to look them over. And whenever you're ready, we could take a motion to adopt the minutes.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it. If there are no other questions or concerns, could we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Sinata?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Commissioner reports and comments. Mr. Sonata, you get to go first today.
Thank you, Chairman Vogler. It was actually a very good week for me last week, the weekend, into the early week. I had the opportunity to go to NACO, the National Association of County Commissioners. I represent Lawrence County and the state of Pennsylvania, along with 35 other commissioners from the state. We actually had an opportunity to go up to Capitol Hill last Tuesday. And we had a chance to visit with Senator McCormick and Senator Fetterman. With many of the issues that affect county government, Lawrence County, as well as all counties throughout the country. And just briefly, I think some of the issues that are important for us from the county are Medicaid, the potential cuts to Medicaid, which could have an effect on the counties, depending on how, if these cuts happen, will the counties be responsible? And we don't have the financial wherewithal to do that. Another issue that was brought up at the conference, which we talked to the senators about, was the municipal bonding. That affects all school districts, counties, local governments. If they would take the tax exempt status away, that's a huge incentive actually for creating jobs with small business opportunities and to float bonds that would add at least 2.5% to 3% of the cost from local governments. So that was another important issue we discussed. And probably the third most important issue is FEMA. From the federal government, I know there's talk down in Washington about Washington not taking care of disasters and leaving that to the state and local governments. The counties were immediately opposed to that because I don't know where you're at, no counties have the financial wherewithal to handle a disaster. And even within Lawrence County, we haven't had one for a long time. But, bridges go out or, shopping centers get taken out. The county doesn't have the ability to do that. And, so we rely a lot on the federal government in case a disaster does occur. So those were three, I think, of the very important issues that we discussed. So I wasn't in the district, so I had an opportunity to attend too many things, except we did an Eagle Scout on Sunday, all three of us. Actually, it was interesting. There was all four of us. I'll let Commissioner Kennedy can follow up on that as well, since she's from his neck of the woods and nice girl. And I've never seen so many Eagle Scouts in one room. They came from all the counties. And just last, I'd like to just throw something out there, Debbie, for you, that we were brought aware of there's a grant program out there for the FACET program throughout Lawrence County. It's being done by the Redevelopment Authority. It's a $25,000 grant, which the business would have to match. Amy McKinney, down here, works on that with the Redevelopment Authority. The deadline is March 31st. And I throw that out there to all businesses throughout the county, Elwood City, and New Wilmington, Newcastle, and Shannon. It doesn't matter. It's to fix the facets of their facility. They have to match it with $25,000. I don't know if there's a whole lot of applicants at this point, but I said that I would try to get that message out to let any business know that. And if they're interested, contact Amy, and because she's the person with the Redevelopment Authority. She works for us as well. So I think it's important to we're just trying to get that message out. I know that they had sent that message to all levels of government, but sometimes some of the small businesses are so occupied in doing what they do with their business that they don't always hear about these things. So I did want to throw that out there. They have a few weeks to apply. If they have questions, to contact me. That's really all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Sonata. Appreciate it. Looks like I'm next. I concur. We had a very enjoyable Sunday afternoon in New Wilmington with the Eagle Scout recipient, Megan Blasco. And it was nice to see County Commissioner Tim McGonigal there. Megan lives in Mercer County, just above the county line in Wilmington Township, Mercer County. So I think that's why they had both three of us as well as Commissioner McGonigal. But again, I'll defer to Dan if he'd like to make more comments about it. The only other thing I'll note is that next Tuesday, this board will not be having a public meeting. Next week is the spring conference of the County Commissioners Association, and that takes place in Dauphin County. My two colleagues plan to attend. I had hoped to attend, however, I've been called to serve on jury duty next week, so I have to stay home and do my civic duty. But I'm glad that both Dan and Chris are able to go. Gives a wonderful opportunity to interact with fellow commissioners from around the state and to hear a lot of good speakers, particularly from state government, during the course of those 2 days. One final note, on the first Tuesday in April, which would be April 1, we've been invited along with Controller Prestipine and Treasurer Rapone to a noon meeting in Pittsburgh by the Marquette Company, which is our fiscal advisor for our pension fund. And again, that meeting starts at noon. So we thought, well, you know, if we have our regular 10 o'clock meeting, that's going to be cutting it really close. So we had informal discussion, but I want to get it on the record. Are you gentlemen both agreeable to us meeting at 9 a.m. that morning? Would that work for and would it work for you, Joe?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Chris and Dan, would that be okay?
Okay.
So what we'll do is we could do a legal ad noting the change of time. Still have a meeting, still be on Tuesday, April 1, but we'll start at 9 a.m. instead of 10 a.m. So I appreciate you both being willing and able to do that. That's all I have, and I'll turn it over to Commissioner Kennedy.
Well, you guys all left it to me, but Megan Belisco, who got the Eagle Scout. She's one of 5 in Wilmington troop to get it this year. So we've done 2 so far. We got 3 more to do. I don't know if they're all gonna have a presentation like that or not. One young man told me he's not doing it. He's too much committed to what he's doing. And we'll probably get on proclamation. I know Wilmington's doing that, and Dr. Patton out in Mohawk, I think he has 4 this year. So you did 4 already. Was it 4 they did out there, Chris?
Something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
they've had
Dan.
quite a few,
That
so.
was when so was Dan, so he got to do that.
So they've been busy.
What's in the water out in Wilmington, Dan? I've never seen 5.
I've never, I have worked with a few kids doing projects at Marty Park, but never this many in a row. And the one young lady that did Fayette Cemetery, I think it cleaned up badly. And Lainey Todd did that. And it's funny, she came and met with me shortly after I went to the hospital last year. So she's watched me get better. She's a nice young lady. She's really done a good job. So did Megan. She did with the kids in the conservation district. So it was a nice project. Besides that, that's it, except for yesterday I spent a few minutes in here, and then I ran off with Ben, and we went down to Pittsburgh. Actually went to Moon Township and Finley Township and toured quite a few of the industrial developments down there and met with some developers that have built that place up. And it was a very interesting trip, and learned how they've done it. Saw the million square foot Amazon Center down there that's huge. You can land a 747 on the sucker, bro. It's just a nice afternoon, meet some nice people, and hopefully we can get them to come this direction. So that was the goal of the day. That's all I have.
Dan, thank you. We've noted in the past that Forward Lawrence, the Economic Development Corporation, their structure is such that their board, one of the board seats is to be filled by a county commissioner. And when Mr. Kennedy took office, he replaced former Commissioner Spillvogel on that board seat. And I will tell you that Dan not only puts a lot of time and effort into his role as a commissioner, but he puts a lot of time and effort into that role as well. And by the way, he's not paid for that. It's a community volunteer position, so we thank you for all, and you have really put a lot of time and effort into it. We thank you for that. Thank you. Well, gentlemen, thank you all. Speaking of the Economic Development Corporation, I'm a little puzzled because I thought Diane Richardson was supposed to be here.
She's probably, hopefully, she's home resting. She is not, yesterday she was not feeling.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
And Ben told her to stay home.
Okay. Well, I hope
So
she,
I don't see why we can't move on, but this is pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory what they're doing.
well, this, what number would this be? 50? This involves the Millennium Park project in the Shannick Township, specifically the redevelopment assistance capital program grant. It states here that this agreement with a public taxing body is a required element of all RACP projects from the Pennsylvania Budget Office. I'll be honest, I did have a couple questions I was hoping to pose. But do you happen to know, is this time sensitive? Is there a deadline?
Well, they started bulldozing yesterday at
That's good.
Millennium Park. And,
Good.
that building is already gonna be full when they get done with it. They wanna get moving on the next phase, I know that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because the bulldozers are there, they wanna keep going or what.
So you're not sure if we waited until next, well, no, you know what, we don't have a meeting next Tuesday. I'd rather not wait 2 weeks. Chris, what are your thoughts?
Right, Dan, is this the Still Life project?
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with that because I know that it's important.
Yeah, I wish they would have sent someone in Diane's place, and again, I'm sorry she's not feeling well. But I guess because we don't meet for another 2 weeks, I certainly wouldn't want to stand in the way of any progress. So Dan, are you comfortable with moving ahead on this today? All right, I'll respect that. Chris, do you feel the same way?
Dan's on the board and I know you're quite aware of the project. I think that we've mentioned doing this before, so it's something I think all three of us are aware of what's going on. And Dan, if you're comfortable with this, I have no issue.
I hopefully I'll see Mr. Bush within the next week and I can
You're
maybe,
gonna see them on Thursday.
I'll pose my questions to him at that time, so, okay. Well, this resolution, as we noted, it's an agreement between the Economic Development Corporation and the county regarding, as both Chris and Dan mentioned, the Steel Light Expansion Phase 2 project in the Shannick Township. The project was awarded a $3.5 million grant from the Commonwealth through the Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program. And one of the requirements, as we noted, is that a public taxing body is a required element, so there does have to be an agreement between the two. One of my questions was, maybe Vanessa or maybe Dan can answer it. Do we know if Attorney Medor has reviewed any or all of this?
He was on the email that I had sent to you guys to review the agreement.
Okay.
As far as I know, he's okay with it.
Okay, you didn't hear anything to the contrary. You didn't hear any concerns
No.
the solicitor posed. Okay. This is Resolution 50. Could we please have a motion for it?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you, gentlemen. Are there any other concerns or comments? Okay, thank you. We'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. The next resolution is proposed resolution 51 from our Children and Youth Services Office. And Mr. Grippo, Mike Grippo is with us. And Mike, it's always nice to have you here. And number 51 is a contract, I believe, with an organization known as A Collective Consulting, and they're based out in Bucks County. This is a renewal, but what more can you tell us, please?
Okay, actually what happened was we had an emergency placement. You know, we didn't use them last year. These were one of the backup ones. So we had an emergency placement from another provider who phoned. So when we called around, we always start Lawrence County, Mercer, we always start that circle. But unfortunately, this was the only place that would take the child. So it got approved by the judge and we had to place them there. So, and the rate from last year didn't go up. So it's the same rate.
That's good to know.
Yeah, it's good to know.
I'll see if Commissioner Sanada has any questions. No. Mr. Kennedy, any questions for Mike? Okay, gentlemen, would one of you care to make a motion for proposed resolution 51?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Thank you, gentlemen. Mike, anything else on this one?
No.
Okay, thank you. We'll ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes?
motion carries.
Thank you. Mike, are you handling the next one involving Katie Kerr?
Yeah,
Okay.
I
this-
got backup in case.
Okay, that's good. Mr. Bowd is with us as well. For those of you who have followed our meetings in the past, Children and Youth Services participates in a program known as Child Welfare Education and Leadership, CWEL. And the resolution states that it's at Pennsylvania Western University. Now, is that the new name? I always thought it was at Pitt.
Well, the program changed, so they have options for different colleges.
Oh,
And I
okay.
think this is Edinburgh.
That's right, this would be Edinburgh, Clarion,
Yeah.
and California. I believe those three are now known as
Yeah, the,
Pennsylvania Western University.
so,
Okay, I didn't realize that. I always thought it was
yeah,
strictly
yeah.
at
And
Pitt.
usually everybody goes to that.
Okay,
Back then, the program has changed. Back then, they would go to school and then work in the summer for 2 years. Every summer come back, and then when they're out, they come back. This is the first time that we're doing it different. They're actually gonna be working and taking night classes.
I see.
And so I think it's a 3-year program instead of a 2-year program. But they will continue to work like they normally would. This is the first year, she's the first one that's doing it.
And Mike, actually, if I'd have read a little further down, it does state in the resolution that she will participate in the program on a part-time online basis while continuing to work full-time. So that backs up what you just said. And it states here that she will maintain county employment post-graduation for a period of time established by her CWEL contract. This seems to have worked well with some of your other employees, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, just again, it's no longer strictly at Pitt, and she's able to do this through one of the, and you said, you think it's Edinburgh?
Yeah, I think I heard Katie say Edinburgh.
Okay.
And the nice thing about it, as they're developing and learning, she's actually gonna be supervising.
Right.
So she can use some of the principles and techniques that she learned.
Yeah.
And apply it to the caseworkers that work for her.
Understood.
or under her. But she's been with us since September 20, and she got promoted to a supervisor in around October, November 23.
Okay. She's been with us about 4.5 years. Okay, that's wonderful. I'm gonna see if Commissioner Kennedy has any questions.
Nothing.
Thank you, Mr. Sanada.
No.
Okay, well, we appreciate your bringing this to us, and I hope it continues to be a successful venture. This is, and do you have anything else to add, Mike?
No?
Okay. John, anything over and above?
It's a very good program, and the worker / student has the right to, has the preference and right to select one of, I believe, up to 7 different universities.
I see.
And the part that is new this year is Edinburgh, or Pennsylvania Western University now, they are exclusively online. They offer no in-person, but the other 6 universities now have added asynchronous learning too. So Ms. Kerr will be able to work full-time, but then because it's asynchronous, she'll have the ability to select which day and time during the week after work she invests into the master's program. So it's really a wonderful program.
Well, appreciate that helpful information, and just for the record, that was John Bout speaking. He's the director of our CYS office, works with Mike. Once again, Chris and Dan, any other questions that you gentlemen might have? Okay, could I have a motion, please, for Resolution 52?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you both, gentlemen. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you. Gentlemen, we appreciate your time. Thank you both. Have a great day.
You guys there.
Thank you. Resolution 53, you may recall earlier in the year, we allocated some dollars from the fund, the Affordable Housing Fund that is collected in the Register and Recorder's Office. And we've done this for quite a number of years. The Carpenters Project, which is a non-denominational intergenerational program in the Elwood City area that assists homeowners with repairs that they are unable to complete themselves with no charge to those homeowners. They are once again asking for a $15,000 allocation from our fund, and we have the letter attached. It was sent to us on March 3, and the gentleman who chairs it is Connie McDonald, who many of you know. Connie, for many years, was the fire chief in Elwood City Borough. He also served a number of terms on the Elwood City Borough Council. So, gentlemen, we have before us this request. My understanding is that there are sufficient funds in this account to cover the $15,000 request. I'm going to see if Mr. Sonata has any comments.
No, it's a very good program.
Thank you. Mr. Kennedy?
None.
Okay, thank you. Would one of you care to make a motion for Resolution 53?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you both, gentlemen. If there are no other concerns, we can take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thanks, Vanessa. Resolution 54 is a budget amendment. This involves our 911 office. It's an increase, an unbudgeted increase in their allocation from the 911 grant disbursement revenue account in the amount of $1,387.93. And that will be earmarked towards the line item known as 911 State Project Lawrence Incumbent Local Exchange Carrier Post-Migration Expense Account. That's a mouthful. So this budget amendment is before us. It's Resolution 54. Dan, do you have any questions about it? Okay, Chris?
No.
Okay, would one of you wish to make a motion for it?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Before we take a roll call, you're comfortable with everything?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just a little bit more around.
Okay. Which we're always happy to have.
Absolutely.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Vanessa, could you please call the roll?
Commissioner Sinata?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thanks, Vanessa. We have one requested transfer today from the Human Resources Office. They are asking for a $3,000 budget transfer from their contingency line item into that of their advertising line item. Would one of you care to make a motion to approve this?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. And I should have asked before the motion. Do either of you have any concerns?
No.
Okay, thank you both. It's been moved and seconded. Could we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Sinata?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you, Vanessa. Well, a couple of announcements. As we noted, the Board of Commissioners will not meet next Tuesday. We will reconvene 2 weeks from today on Tuesday, March 25 at 10 a.m. in this room. It's open to the public. The Lawrence County Planning Commission meeting that was scheduled for tomorrow, March 12, has been canceled. The prison board will meet on Wednesday, March 19, that would be 1 week from tomorrow at 12 noon, in this room, open to the public. It's not listed on the agenda, but the salary board will convene a special meeting this Thursday, March 13. Do I have that right, 13?
Yes.
Thank you. At 9 a.m. The legal ad appeared, I believe, yesterday.
Yes.
And we have a few items of business that we have to address as the salary board. That's open to the public. Those are the announcements that I have at this time. I'm going to see, our public consists of Debbie from the Newcastle News, and I have your packet, Debbie, but do you have any questions or concerns?
I do. Can someone explain this CLA expansion phase 2 project? Is that what they broke ground for? Is that something different?
No, that was phase 1, what they broke ground for.
So this
phase
is
2.
something different.
This is a second building.
Can you explain what it is?
It's a warehouse. They need more space, so they gotta build another
Do you
building.
know any dimensions or anything? Or
You were there that day, I think. Did you cover it? It was real cold.
that's what I'm asking.
They
That
had the
was
tent?
groundbreaking.
That was
you said.
for phase 1.
So this is for phase 2.
Yeah, they're building another building on that same site for phase 2. So there'll be 2 buildings.
And it's another warehouse building. Okay. You know anything more about it? Like how much it's gonna cost or?
No, Ben or Diane would have that.
Alright, how much is left in the affordable housing fund after this allocation?
I'd have to check. I believe we started with 80-some thousand.
Yeah.
But we've only taken, what did we give to the other?
I think we gave that,
15.
the ramp people 15.
15 and
so-
15 years, so that's really.
About 50, I would,
There's about 50,000 left.
yeah,
Approximately. And Debbie, as you know, these 2 organizations, traditionally, we've given to them in the past.
So when you don't give them the money, what happens to the funds that are in there? Just stay there?
they continue to build.
And that's also the money we gave to Dawn Services for the homeowners, but that's on hold right now. The homeowners,
Mortgage assistance.
yeah, that's what it's
Oh,
called.
okay. And the redevelopment grant that you were talking about, Chris, or, I'm sorry,
Oh, the facade grant.
the facade program?
Yeah.
No, I was aware there was one for the city and one for Elwood City, but
This is different.
is this a new one? Or,
They did it 2 years ago, I believe. I wasn't commissioner the last time they did it. This is a $25,000 grant, but you have to match the $25,000 grant. And it's run through the redevelopment authority. So it is different. This would be besides whatever New Wilmington or Elwood City or anywhere else and this would, to my understanding, anywhere in the county can get this grant, as long as they have.
is this a new program? I mean, for the whole county?
Yes, they did it 2 years ago.
Because we didn't hear anything about it till now, but
That's the reason I brought it up.
was, okay. so
Well,
maybe
it would
was the
have
weather.
to have been discussed at a redevelopment authority meeting,
It's
since they
not,
administer it.
they administer, it's not specifically us here, but I wanted to bring it up because,
So would Amy have more information?
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Or Rebecca, I'm not, is Amy here?
Amy's here.
She is here.
Yeah, I
Amy or
would talk to
Rebecca.
them because we just want to get that word out because.
Thank you.
I've got your packet when we're done.
Thanks.
Thank you, Debbie. Closing comments from my colleagues, Mr. Sanada.
Madam Chairman, thank you for an efficient meeting.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Kennedy, any closing comments?
I'm good.
Thank you, appreciate that. Vanessa or Joe, anything maybe we've forgotten or overlooked? All right, we thank you both. Appreciate everybody being here today, and again, we will reconvene in 2 weeks as a Board of Commissioners. Thank you all. May I please have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody. You'll turn us off.
Thank you, gentlemen.
That's for you.
Thank you.